22 minutes already?
Oops. Stop that. Yeah, close the door. There we go.
Life has a funny way of giving you the hardest challenges when you least expect it. Going into my senior year, I expected a lot of stress from IB testing, college applications, and the inevitable senioritis, but I had no idea what I was supposed to expect this senior year. This year, I not only had to fight for my place in the university, but I also had to fight for my place on this earth. The story begins with the first weeks of my senior year. I was training for track with an Olympic medalist and really wanted to get a scholarship for track so that I could go to a university for as cheap as possible. So I was very excited about that. But 2 weeks into my senior year, I started feeling an uncomfortable amount of pain in my abdomen, which worried my mother into taking me to the doctor's office. When I got to the doctor's office, I vividly remember being the WebMD expert that I am, telling the doctor that I had appendicitis. But she didn't believe me and completely brushed it off as I wasn't showing any of the normal symptoms, nausea, vomiting, and unbearable pain. But she did think that something was wrong because when she took my blood pressure, I nearly passed out. So she took me to the ER and they ran a series of tests, CT scans, MRIs, ultrasounds, x-rays, anything that you could possibly think of. And hours upon hours of waiting led to them telling me that my test results were inconclusive. They recommended that I would go into an exploratory surgery where they would kind of see what's going on in there and maybe take out my appendix just to see if things clear up by themselves. Now, this seems very risky and kind of suspicious, but my parents were very concerned and wanted to make sure that I got the help that I needed. So they said, okay to the surgery. Unfortunately, this was just the beginning of a whirlwind of roller coaster events that led to the rest of the story. So the surgeon gave us many possible causes of the pain after my surgery. He said that my appendix did not burst and he removed it completely intact, but it had a tumor inside of it. So he wanted to see if they could send it to pathology and get some further research done about that. He also said that I might have some problems with my fallopian tubes and I might have ovarian cysts and many other things that just boggled my brain. Because a week before, I was training for the best track season of my career, and now I had all of these possible things coming at me. The next day, I was happy just to be able to eat as the doctor recommended, and a few hours later, my lunch decided to revisit me. And so, if you did not know, vomiting is a very bad sign after having abdominal surgery, so my parents were very concerned. My symptoms began to get much worse with every hour. I had a fever of over 103.7. I was vomiting constantly, and I could barely walk without intense abdominal pain. My parents were also frustrated because the staff that was going around me doing all of these tests was not able to diagnose me. And after having my surgery, I ended up getting worse than when I was before. The surgeon, in all this chaos, decided to push for a second surgery. My dad was uncomfortable with how eager he was in order to get me into the operating room, but he wanted to trust his expert opinion. My mom, on the other hand, was very suspicious and decided to look my doctor up on the internet. I watched from my hospital bed as my parents' faces completely lost all color. In big, bold words were, "Beware of Dr. Husted, my surgeon." Reading articles upon articles of my doctor being sued for medical malpractice, multi-million-dollar lawsuits, by the way. My dad was more angry than he's ever been in his entire life. He ran out of my hospital room, confronting the nurse, showed her the computer screen and said, "This is the man that you have operating on my daughter. We need to be transferred out of this hospital immediately." After that, no doctor would touch me from that hospital. They stopped giving me antibiotics, IV fluids, and any medication that would help relieve the pain. 17 hours later, I was transferred to Rady's Children's Hospital, where they assured me that I was in good hands. And they assured that I would have a good recovery. They also explained a lot of the things that I was confused about in the beginning. They said that my appendix had burst, and it would be easy to see that on the scans that they took from my previous hospital. They also said that my doctor left 50 ounces of fluid, infected fluid, inside my abdomen that was causing my body to shut down. I was lucky to be alive. And they also said that my second surgery would have likely led me to die because I was much too sick to be on the operating table again. The road to recovery was very long. 3 days after I was discharged from the hospital, I was readmitted again for other complications in my surgery. I came back to school 10 pounds lighter, 10 times weaker, and with 10 times as much homework as I could ever imagine. I had 2 Fs, and my teachers were beyond confused as to why I was gone for a month. Needless to say, my semester was very stressful. My immune system was never the same again. I got pneumonia after that and kept getting more flus and colds that did not allow me to complete my track season, so I ended up having to quit. All hope of getting a scholarship was completely out the window. As you can see, these stressful encounters were very unexpected for my senior year. I expected stress, but not in this way. My random visit to the doctor's office led to 19 days of hospitalization, which changed me forever. And I wouldn't be the person that I am today without this encounter. It allowed me to understand that I was capable of handling so much more than I could have ever imagined. God allowed me to not only survive this encounter, but also graduate with the best GPA I've ever had in my high school career and be able to go to a school that I never thought I could ever afford, let alone be accepted to. So my story proves that you may have to battle through unexpected challenges in life, but you are never fighting alone.